this point in time, I'm going to want to bring up our keynote speaker, Mr. Conrad Schabauer. Conrad, yes, please come up. Thank you, give him a
Good evening. What are you doing? Good evening. I am so honored and almost speechless, but not exactly. Ronald Reagan. There's two parts to this story. I mean, we have the Conservative Society for Action, which is 3 years, about 3 years now, I guess, 2008, where one night Steve and I got together after some yelling at TVs and radios and newspapers, and I work in Brooklyn, so I'm usually stuck in commuter traffic, 40-minute, hour and a half, 2 hours, so I'm listening to Sean, Rush, Mark, and just the same thing over and over. And one day I just said, Steve, we got to do something. We got to just talk. And I hear people that call on the radio and they say, what can I do, Mark? Sean, what can I do? Rush, what can I do? You know, and so, well, you have to vote. And so I say, so I'm thinking to myself, there's a lot of people out there who need somewhere to go, who have to be heard. So we got the idea. Steve, years of his political background, he was born for it, but going all the way back to really 1968, the Jim Buckley campaign. I don't know if well, a lot of you old enough to remember 1968. If you were a conservative, it wasn't a good time. If you were a patriot, it wasn't a good time. We graduated Bayshore High School in 1971, and man, that's where it all started. And every time I see a 20-year, somebody in their 20s, and I always feel I have to apologize for my generation, because that's when it started. Free love, drugs, Woodstock, anti-government, anti-establishment. I mean, school was like, every school was like San Francisco. I mean, nobody is arguing, and Steve was the same person then that he is today. What you see him writing online and in our, and when he says on the corners and on News 12, he was saying that in 1968 through the school newspaper, through debates, through the history classes, and we caught hell. We caught hell, but he never backed down then, and he has no intention of backing down now. So it was only a natural for him to go this route, and I knew he had it in him, because in my mind, no disrespect to a lot of these great conservative minds and these great writers and the George Wills and the Shaws Hannitys and people who've written books, but growing up with him and seeing him, what he's done and how he's lived his life, nobody can hold a candle to Stephen Flanagan when it comes to conservatism, when it comes to so the CSA part is pretty self-explanatory. We've all seen him and heard him and just read what he's written. But we go back 50 years now, 1961, second grade, Mrs. Kiptunis. Those days of the air raid alerts and put your head in your locker and under your desk and a coat over there, you know, it's going to save you from a hydrogen bomb. But anyway, everybody had their food in hidden in the basement, and we grew up through NASA, the Alan Shepard, Gemini, Mercury programs. It was a pretty good time. I mean, it was a good time to grow up. Long Island was a nice place to live, and things. I don't know, we were young, naive, but it was good. And as we've gotten older, a lot of you feel the same way. We've lost a little of that, and we're trying to get it back. Now, that may be an illusion because time goes on and things change, but there are certain core values and principles that I think can never change. I mean, they've been here for 200 years, and we got a class of people here, or a core of people that think they want to bring change, they know a better way, and well, he doesn't accept it, and I don't accept it either, and that's why we've done what we've done. and to be standing here in front of you good people at an organization named the Ronald Reagan Republican Club. You have the idea that Stephen Flanagan would be accepting an award and be honored by you good people is, it's mind-boggling to me. Because going back 1976, when Reagan first ran, I know you all heard about his famous concession speech. It was on YouTube. Not the concession speech, I mean the keynote speech he gave at impromptu at the convention. And when they say, well, we nominated the wrong guy, that was the end result of that speech. And afterwards, he talked to his campaign people in the hotel lobby the next day, saying that, thanking them all, and the cause will go on, and we're not going to give up. And as Nancy and Ronald walked away from the podium, the camera panned with them. And if you go to the YouTube video, and it would be at the 2-minute and 21-second mark, there's a young man standing off to the side with a mustache, standing there, and that would be one Stephen Robert Flanagan. Ronald Reagan conservative then, and Ronald Reagan conservative now. He had the honor of interviewing him one-on-one in his hotel room back in, what was that, 76?
Long time ago.
I mean, Ronald Reagan to us is, I don't know, words can't describe it. What we believe in and what we, I truly missed the man and his presence. We had the privilege of being at his library this year, which at Simi Valley, if anybody gets a chance to go, it's a beautiful place. It's up in the mountains, and we went through the tour of the Oval Office and such, and his memorial is there. Unfortunately, they were getting ready for his 100th birthday, and they were refurbing the place, and they had it tented off, which upset Mr. Flanagan greatly, because he wanted to pay his respects. So we're walking around the yard, and there's the place, and I'm standing there, and I'm wondering, where's Steve? And I look, and I see him, half of him anyway, sticking out from behind the tent. He had to take a look. And I'm saying to myself, this is just great. We're going to be thrown out, escorted off the out of the Ronald Reagan Library, and how's that going to look? They'll probably take your award away. No, but it was an awe-inspiring, amazing thing, and the fact that he's here today with you good people. It's been a long road, and it's almost like it had to end here. Not end, it's not the end, this is just the beginning. But the one thing I want to make clear to everybody, as all his accomplishments in the last 2 years, what he's done in the way he in his writing, and even before that, his school board activity and his community service, and how he's worked politically, and going back to Rick Lazio's campaign and many campaigns. He loves doing that. But there's one thing he loves more than his country, and that is his family. And if you want to know what type of man he is or what he is, when you drive past in the summertime, a field where they're playing pee-wee soccer or Little League games or just any kind of picnics, barbecues, that's what he is. I mean, he works between as a businessman. Well, as everybody knows, he's a businessman. It's been since he graduated high school. He's worked for himself as a writer, pumping gas, anything. He's been amazing. He raised a great, beautiful family, which I'm going to take the opportunity. I don't know if he's going to do this, but I want you to stand up. Kerry, this is his daughter, Kerry. And then there's Christy, his son, Brian, Hillary, and their beautiful mother, Barbara, is sitting there, and you can stand up too, Barbara. When I graduated high school, I joined the Marine Corps, because that's what I wanted to do. and volunteered for Vietnam and did the whole thing. I said, F you to the class of 71, you can all go to hell. I'm going to South Carolina. So the idea was he was supposed to come with me. So we went down in for the physicals and everything, and we signed, I thought, all the papers, but apparently only I signed all the papers. And the next thing I know, I'm in South Carolina standing on a set of yellow footprints, saying to myself, what the hell did I do? And he's up here playing baseball and doing what kids do when they graduate from high school. But as it turns out, that was for the good. Because I served my country. I volunteered for Vietnam. I went there. It was 1971, and when I got there, a few short time later, they signed the Paris Accords, and they ended they came up with the agreement, and we got our prisoners of war back. And I had the honor of being there when the prisoners returned. John McCain, which I didn't know who John McCain was at the time, but he was there, and they were coming off the plane at Clark Air Force Base, and I experienced that. And we went up to Haiphong Harbor and pulled out the mines that were there. It was part of history, and it was proud for me to see those men come home. And so that was my duty, or my service that I pulled, nothing special. But what he did, he also did a service, and I just mentioned him. He raised a great, beautiful family that's going to go on. They're going to be a valued member of this community. That's something I didn't do, so I think he's got a leg up on me on that. But in his own way, and plus with his political work and as a businessman, he did a lot without ever having to put on a uniform. And that's really what America's about. It's about individuals, self-starters, people who have dreams, who want to raise their family, and that's what we're fighting for today. That we don't want this change, and we don't want this nanny state. This man raised his family on his own, paid for every kid that he had. He didn't have there was very little medical insurance. He had to pay for it out of his own pocket, because he was good times, bad times. He never lost never became cynical. He's the same guy who enjoys playing with his grandson. I hear him yelling at the computer. I'm saying, oh man, what is this, Pelosi? And I walked in, and he's doing some Xbox with his son, some Soldier of Fortune thing. That's what he loves to do. That and his fantasy baseball. All we ever wanted to do growing up was just play baseball. But he beat me on that too. He was good and I stunk. But he's a role model for me. I wish I could have had his work ethic. I wish I had his accomplishments, family, but I'm very proud of him. I'm proud of what he's did. I'm proud of, I've never met anybody like him. He doesn't, vanity, ego, that doesn't exist in him. He truly does what he does because he cares. Cares about his family, cares about his community. Nothing else. He's my best friend. I've known him all my life. And I would trust him with my life. And more than that, I would trust this republic and this country with him too. He's a man of. I've probably said enough. I don't want to embarrass you, Mr. Flanagan. I can't believe that there's this many people here for you and you're still alive. That's an honor in itself. Anyway, I also am truly honored to be before you and to have this opportunity. This is my first keynote address. Didn't turn out like pagans or Palins. I'm sorry. Governor Palin. Anyway, thank you. And silent no more, and God bless America, and God bless our Navy SEALs.